Hi everyone, thanks for watching Access Hockey MI. As always, we are going to bring you today a Jakub Vrana update. He is conditioning with the Grand Rapids Griffins right now on assignment from Detroit. So we're just going to talk to you basically about what we've been seeing. He's played at least 10 games with us in Grand Rapids at the point of this video. So if you keep on watching, make sure before you do that, you like, comment, and subscribe. We really appreciate seeing you guys communicate and just talk with us in the comments below. So make sure you do that, and let's get into it.
Yeah, so a quick synopsis. Everyone knows who Vrana is, but a quick rundown of his previous stats prior to this assignment. In 2021-22, he was with Detroit. He played 26 games and had 19 points in those 26 games. As of this season, he had 2 games in Detroit, had 2 points in those games, went off to the assistance program, came back in Grand Rapids. Now he's had 10 games played and 3 points as of now, before they head off on their next road trip. So overall, that first season looked pretty good.
Even his past seasons.
Yes.
So we want to first start by highlighting the potential that Jakub Vrana has. And the reason that he had so many eyes on him when he came to Grand Rapids on conditioning assignment from Detroit is because he was either a point per game or a point every other game kind of a player. And he has that potential, and he is a very skilled skater. He's a very skilled puck handler. So I expected him to come out and be like, yeah, we're going to 7,000 goals in 2 games from
He's
this guy.
going to fill that net with pucks.
Yeah, that was the potential, and that is the potential because we've seen it happen in the NHL. He's a very talented player. So if we just talk about potential, what we expected to see going into his conditioning assignment, I would say that was accurate. I expected a lot of points.
Right, for any sort of conditioning assignment, especially with a player of his caliber, even when he was with the Washington Capitals for many seasons prior to us getting him. We traded him with Anthony Mantha a few seasons back, but even then, very highly productive kind of guy. I mean, like Janae said, he was point per game. I mean, he was just killing it with goals and assists. And then, his time in Detroit prior to this reassignment here, he was averaging about a point per game too, even after coming off a shoulder injury and things like that.
Yeah.
So he has proven to be a very capable player. So when he was reassigned to the AHL, obviously the expectation for him coming in from all of us, and likely him too,
and likely NHL,
right, was that it was going to be 3-4 games and he was going to be ready to go.
Yeah.
That so far has not been the case.
I mean, he was on condition, or he was, I would say, in that assistance program for a couple of months at least. So he lost a lot of time, and I'm not sure if he was able to play or what that all entailed. All I know is that I think the first game back with us was the first time he's played consistently in a long time. First time he's skated in a long time as far as in any serious capacity. So I don't think we expected to see quick results,
right?
But there has been a delay, if we're going to be honest. So 10 games played, 3 points, pretty good, but it took him at least over 7 games to get any point at all.
Right.
And you could see the frustration building, and you could see the frustration in his play, which I think is only inhibiting him, which is it's just a personal thing that, of course, the mental game is such a personal thing for a player. So it is taking some time for him to find his groove, and I think that is adding to the frustration for himself alone,
Yeah, and as a whole, our team is struggling. So you have a player who was struggling and is mentally still struggling in some ways, in many ways, coming into an organization that is struggling.
Yeah.
So it is a struggle bus. So with Vrana, the first couple games we had seen him in, he would try make good decisions. There was a couple times where I'm like, what are you doing? Stop that. That giveaway just turned into a goal.
Yeah.
So just trying to get his mind wrapped around where he is currently, being present and not necessarily enjoying the time he has there, but using it and having a good attitude about it has been a huge challenge for him.
Yeah.
And I think probably the biggest obstacle, because the conditioning, the physical part of it, I think that's something people are like, oh, and I think I had the same expectation.
Yeah,
after a
it'll
couple
be
games,
like riding a bike.
Right, as long as we'll be back on track, he'll be feeling great. Physically, probably. He's in great condition physically.
Yeah, he's probably closer physically than he is mentally, I would say. Just
Absolutely.
based on, and this is all, I would say, a little bit of just guesswork as far as what you see on ice as he plays, how he responds to things, teammates, the other team, referees. And that it sounds kind of silly, but it's actually pretty obvious when a player is having a hard time getting into the groove or getting into, I would say, the chemistry of the team, because it shows, their frustration shows pretty quickly. And I would say that it's more so for him because he is an expressive player. Like, he doesn't hide his frustration.
He's very emotive.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it. So I would say that right now what we've seen so far is frustrated play.
Yes.
And I think that is inhibiting his ability to produce and put up the points that I think maybe the NH or the Red Wings thought that they would be seeing from him. So right now, I would think that is kind of where he needs to focus the most to get the opportunity to go back up to the Red Wings. And that's just kind of, as far as the delay, that's just kind of what we see. I mean, if you can't overcome that frustration, and it could be so many things, you know, like Rachel said, as a team, it's a struggle. So you have to rise above that. Right. And if you're already coming in struggling mentally, then that's got to be the hardest thing to do, to rise above that.
And he said, you know, like, oh, I can only do what I can do, and, you know, I'm doing what I can, and I feel physically great, and all that kind of stuff. But you can tell there's something going on, and we were talking off camera about this too, where, you know, he's in this weird position where he has to fully embrace being in the AHL, fully embrace where he's at, regardless of what happens, but also fully embrace his role in the NHL because that's what he's shooting for.
Yeah,
so it's really, really hard to straddle that line and be successful at both levels at the same time. Yeah. You're trying to play above where you are, but you're also trying to get yourself current and present. Yeah. So it's really, really difficult mentally to do that. And with his frustrations, and they are building as a team, there's a ton of changes happening, and that's really kind of like mounting up a little bit.
Yeah.
That is, like Janae said, that is something where that is where his focus is going to need to be, because he does have the ability to be an elite player. He is an elite player.
You see the sparks of it. Yeah. I mean, his shot alone is an impressive thing to behold. And you can see tiny things in what he does, but oftentimes he tries to do too much, because I think that's where the frustration also comes in. You're like, I'm just going to do it myself. If I can't get any help, or if he's like ahead maybe of the play than his teammates and they're not on the same page, that can result in turnovers that we've seen, and in, you know, things that just aren't working out. So it is a whole team thing, and I don't think that that's helpful for, of course, his conditioning and recovery, but as far as like his recovery in the physical standpoint, and I think even this is something probably he's not dealt with a ton, because as we said, he's always had the production. He's always had you get in it, all right, it's like riding a bike. You know, I'm in this now, and, you know, here's all the goals. All right, NHL, you know, so I think that maybe it's new territory for him, and I think that could contribute as well.
Yeah, and I think really what it comes down to for him personally is he has unmet expectations of himself.
Probably. I think that's...
Any competitive athlete of any sort, you have this level that you expect and you know you can hit, and you're not there, and you cannot figure out how to get there. There's something in the way, and I think that's just kind of where he's at right now. So moving forward, you know, if he really wants to vie for that spot, whether it's with Detroit or someone else, he has to get past that. Yeah. And there's a lot of players, I can think of a few in Grand Rapids right now that have dealt with similar things that he could probably glean off of, but it's also a matter of really recognizing that and reaching out for that.
Well, not only that, but like you said, you have to fully embrace where you are now, as well as the dream of where you want to be. And so the fully embracing where you are now would include the getting close enough to the team to let everybody help each other, which is something that Grand Rapids needs right now, considering just the lack of communication, it seems like, everywhere from top down. It had like top down. Like GM of Red Wings down.
Sorry.
You know?
It's very frustrating.
So just kind of in conclusion.
There's really no solid place.
Yeah, and we're not taking any responsibility away from him himself. No. Because he has to do the work to get there to where he wants to go.
Yeah, so. It's your crap. You got to learn how to flush your own toilet. But
it's true. Very eloquent. Very well put. And on that,
I'm a great orator.
So yeah, that's kind of like our synopsis of Vrana. So whether or not we keep him or he's used in trading, we won't know until, a little bit later, of course. So just let us know in the comments, have you been able to see him play? What do you think of his play and what he's doing to get back into Detroit? Do you expect him to be back into Detroit? Let us know in the comments what you think so far of this team, of the development of the Red Wings. Let us know if you want us to talk about anything in specific in the comments. We look at those all the time. And thank you again so much for watching. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe, and we will see you guys next time. Bye.